Hello and welcome to Mid-Table Crisis with me, Thomas Patrick.
And me, Simon Cross.
We are two budding football journalists with nothing better to do with our time than talk about football because we can't play it.
Yep, not anymore. Not since the accident.
Some would say we never could.
Oh, well, those would be correct people, to be fair. I think you once compared me to Dennis Weiss on coke, did you not, on the field?
Yeah. The only person I know that's ever received a red card after a game had finished. Several seconds after a game had finished.
Yes. Oh. To me, well, whenever I saw you play, you always struck me as if Per Mertesacker tried to play wing back. I mean, long and lolloping, and you know, he put in a decent shift at wing back, did old Tom, but I don't know. It's like watching a giraffe, you know, on a treadmill.
A pregnant giraffe ice skate. Yeah. So those are our footballing credentials, and it should be said that I am a Coventry fan, and Simon is a long-time Bolton fan for reasons best known to himself.
Yes. You don't get many Bolton fans here in sunny Nuneaton, but there you go. When you're the 8th worst town in the country, you've got to look elsewhere and build your dreams up bit by bit, and that's why I picked a idyllic paradise as Bolton to idolise, starting with their team and now their lifestyle. I often find myself looking forlornly at pies, thinking, one day I will embrace the Bolton way.
And that's the kind of cutting-edge hard talk that you can expect on this podcast. So, it's definitely something to consider. But the reason I mention our prospective clubs is because I would like to give everyone a little run through of how Coventry are doing at the moment.
Where'd you start? Really,
yeah.
That's the question.
I mean, I think you start with a 10-point deduction. Well, you could start by saying, I had a quite poignant moment the other day.
Go on.
15 years since my first game. My dad took me to Coventry against Villa.
Back in the glory days of the Prem, I imagine.
On the 16th of November, yeah, we were still in the Premier League, and we won 3-1. Steve Froggatt scored an absolute cracker with his left. Yeah, it just made me think how far we've fallen, because we were relegated at the turn of the century. It's not been plain sailing since then. We've struggled to go up. The Championship was a long, hard fight, and eventually we went from promotion contenders to playoff hopefuls to mid-table crisis to all the way down to relegation candidates over a series of years, and now we're in League One. We find ourselves slapped with a 10-point deduction.
No stadium either.
Well, yeah, it's a catalogue of poor management, and yeah, there's so many things that have gone wrong. I'd need 50 minutes to describe them all. But it boils down to basics. Our owners don't want us. We don't want our owners. And we play in Northampton, which is about 40 miles away. So that's the backdrop against which we've had to start the season. 10 points down and in a different city.
Yeah, your relationship seems to strike me very much as a old married couple that have basically just given up on any kind of hope of romance and just sit in a corner resenting each other.
I think we're waiting for one of the other ones to die.
We should point out at this point that's not a call to arms by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, I'd certainly hope not. I mean, I'm sure of the thousands of Coventry fans that are listening to this, most of them would be
millions, possibly.
Well, possibly. It's difficult to gauge, but I'm sure most of them will be anti-Sisu, and in fact, I don't think I've ever met any Sisu or our owners. I don't think I've ever met any pro-Sisu fans in the years.
Not many advocates of Sisu. No, I mean, I like living nearby to Coventry. You don't hear much in the way of positive talk about the owners, but despite your current position and despite all that's against you, you're not doing that badly in the league, are you?
Top scorers in the league, actually. Yeah, we were flying up the league for a while. But the problem is that Well, it's kind of a mixed blessing, to be honest. We've not really had too much money. In fact, we had to get rid of 8 players over the summer. Because of that, we've had to bring through a lot of the youth players, and they've turned out to be a great crop. It turns out that, even if we had money, we would have been fine on the players we had, because we're currently in 12th on 21 points. If it weren't for the 10-point deduction, we'd be in 4th. And we've got a pretty good goal difference. It's 3rd best in the league. We're not conceding too many. Well, I say we're not conceding too many. Yeah, we're
a bit defensively frail at the start of the season, but you seem to have levelled off.
Yeah, there was a 5-4 win. There was a 3-3 recently. We've had some high-scoring games, but overall the defence is looking a little bit better these days. And we've got Clark and Christie up front, who've got 25 goals between them. And we can't really ask for more than that. And the good news is we've got a squad of good young players who look like a lot of them are going to stay. There's legitimate talk of playoffs this season, which would be completely and utterly unbelievable.
I mean, in terms of League One, I dare say it's sort of already a foregone conclusion, what with Wolves and Peterborough being as rampant as they are.
Wolves and Leyton Orient, you mean? Peterborough 3rd, Leyton Orient 2.
Yeah, but you don't see Peterborough lose many games, and of course Leyton Orient are also going to be up there come the end of the season. But my point is, it's not going to be an easy league to win.
Oh no, yeah, I think Wolves are basically top spot and possibly second spot are unobtainable. So you might as well just hedge
your bets in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a big scrap over the playoffs. There's quite a few teams in there. Not only the teams that are in the playoffs at the moment, but you could probably count, say, Bradford, Rotherham, Port Vale, and Coventry in there, and then lesser teams such as Walsall. They'll be looking to try and creep into there as well. So I think that's
the little jive at Walsall there. Our techie himself, a Walsall fan.
Yes. The silent partner. He always goes along every Saturday and he cheers from as loudly as he can, which is of course not at all because he is indeed silent in all walks of life. Unfortunately, we've never heard him speak, but some say he speaks with a Welsh accent, despite never having been there. But it'd be wrong to speculate because he clearly has some severe problems. Anyway, I think that sums up Coventry's situation quite well. Would you be able to give us a quick rundown of how things are going over on Bolton way, Simon?
Oof. Well, it's where to begin. Basically, ever since we lost Big Sam, way back 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons, no, 5 seasons ago now, must be 5 seasons ago now, we've ever so slowly decayed as a footballing force, and now find ourselves once again in the second tier of English football.
Watching a little something earlier, and it was about your relegation back down there. I think it was in the late. I think it was 97-98 season. You got relegated back down there again. And
yeah, so we came back pretty quickly from that. But I honestly don't see us repeating the feat. Last season and this season, the bookmakers have tipped us as favourites to win the championship title, and honestly, I don't see why. As a footballing force, we're in a very competitive area of the country for a start, so we can't fill out our stadium because we're competing with the Manchester clubs, the Liverpool and Evertons for fans, and you can't win battles like that when they've got glamorous superstars. And we've got a hardcore base, but the casual fans just won't come. I've always thought that if ever a team needed to be relocated a la NFL franchise style, it would be us. If you put us in the middle of Devon, we could easily fill out a 40,000 seat stadium, but it's never ever going to happen.
Are there 40,000 people in Devon?
You might have to count sheep as people.
Yeah, possibly. And they often don't pay for tickets. That's your problem there. But I suppose you might save some money on the groundsman. So swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, indeed.
And I think what you alluded to there a certain amount is something that I subscribe to as well. You're talking about Big Sam leaving, and ever since then the club sort of decayed to a certain extent. Would you agree that although there are those managers that win ugly, Pulis, Allardyce, and at a lower league level, Adi Boothroyd, someone like that. Do you agree those people definitely have a place because it's better to sort of be, maybe not no great shakes in the Premier League than no great shakes in the Championship. Would you believe that, or would you say get Owen Coyle in, give him a go, see what happens?
Well, Owen, I was very excited about the hiring of Owen Coyle, and when I saw that we were trying to play a prettier style of football, I was all for it in the beginning stages. But life. No disrespect to the Championship, but it's not life in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And
it literally isn't. It literally isn't.
It literally isn't.
Yeah.
But if I had to take Sam Allardyce's brand of football and be in the Premier League, I mean, at least with Sam Allardyce, you'd get random international superstars turning up at your club. Idiger Johnson, JJ Okocha,
Ivan Campo,
Nicholas Anelka.
Yeah.
We had stars aplenty, but now, I mean, when you had great strikers like England international Kevin Davies.
Oh Christ!
Tom would argue I'm using the word "great" in parenthesis there.
I'd also argue the words England international because he got about 30 minutes and got booked. But yeah.
Hey, one cap is still a cap. He's got as many caps as Micheal Ricketts, the last England Bolton player, I believe.
Well, I think that says a lot, but yes, I'll take your point.
All right, it's not a fine pedigree, I admit. However, when you see that we had strikers like Nicholas Anelka, and now you look at up front and you've got David Ngo and Jermaine Beckford, you do wonder where it all went wrong.
I think it was a mixture of, a bit like Coventry, people getting ideas a little bit above their station. Maybe the owners thought, I tell you what, we can kick on from here. Let's change things up a bit, and it didn't work. I'm not saying apathy's the best way to go, but I'm saying that sometimes a more cautious approach is more intelligent. Look at Leeds. Look what happened to Leeds. From Premier League to League One, a few seasons.
It's not a carbon copy of yours, but look when you built the Rico. You built the Rico, and you got relegated that season, so you had less money coming in to cover that massive expenditure. And in many ways, we did that with our overhyped players like Martin Petrov. Brought him in from Manchester City, put in one of the worst. Sorry, one of the worst performances I've ever seen in the FA Cup semi-final. And I think it was from that game that it definitively all went wrong for Bolton Wanderers, because we were never the same after that. Losing 5-0 to Stoke in front of near on 90,000 fans. Just heartbreaking.
I'm sure. It's not like Bolton get many opportunities to silverware to see that opportunity taken away from you and be crushed at the same time by I wouldn't say mediocre, but not a world-beating side. Must have been tough.
No, the year of Nat Lofthouse's death, you thought it was sort of written in the stars, pardon the pun, that you would get there, but just not to be.
I think what we can take from this little discussion is that Coventry and Bolton have both had some hardships, but both, I'd say, green shoots of recovery.
Yes,
we can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As you can tell, we're very much in the fix-it-upper brand of positivity, glass half full and all that.
I try to. It's the only thing that keeps my head out of the oven. We laugh, but there's a tragic backstory to that. Anyway,
bring it to the cheery toppy of England and their performances of the past week.
I think I'll eat my own fingernails. No, I'm not as enamoured with England these days as I was when I was young, but it still would have been nice to beat the Germans on our own patch, wouldn't it?
It would have been, and now after losing to the Germans and losing our 2 straight home games the first time since 1977, some people would be clamouring to say there's a crisis at England. But thankfully the media don't seem to have jumped on this bandwagon as much as they have in the past. I think...
I was surprised at that to a certain extent. I thought there was going to be a lot of name calling and scapegoating because it was the Germans, and because it was at Wembley. But
I think in many ways, ever since we lost 4-1 at the World Cup to the Germans, I think a sense of realism has enveloped the country, and I think most people I talk to will take the second round next year as a good result.
I think people are just sick of the press overhyping England and oh, we're going to win the World Cup, we're going to win the World Cup. People are just sick of that, and they've started.
Yeah, well, the way I see it is we should really write this tournament off and just try and blood some of the new talent, because we're very much a team in transition when you think about it. I mean, we're about to lose Gerrard and Lampard. I can't see them making 2016.
2014 possibly.
Well, no, Lampard might not make the plane at all.
And who have we got to replace him?
Ross Barkley, 18, not really up to the plate yet. But as I say, if we're taking players like Ross Barkley, we have to write the tournament off in our minds and just treat it as a learning experience.
Well, I'd say throw the shackles off. Say to the lads, look, we don't know. We know we're gonna struggle to win it. Go out there, play with a bit of freedom, play with a bit of flair. Don't do anything stupid, but have a go at them.
Yeah,
if we can negotiate the group, anything can happen.
The group's another thing, because as we're unseeded, we're going to have to play with a big heavyweight. That's in the group stage. We can't avoid that.
But we are to a certain extent a big heavyweight. So I think.
Are we? Or are we just I think I don't see us as a big heavyweight anymore.
I think we've still got the firepower. We've still got enough. We've still got players like Rooney, as much as he's not my favourite player in the world. We've still got players like Gerrard, who's getting on but can still play. We've still got enough, and we've got pace down the wings with players like Walcott and Lennon and
Townsend.
Townsend's coming through.
See, he gives me hope, Townsend. I mean, out of all the hype whenever England player steps up to the mark, Townsend seems to be the one that will stay around, I think. I think Lambert, for a start, he's 30. And secondly, I think if all our striking options were fit, I'd struggle to see him making the top 5 choice.
He's definitely not one for the future, put it that way.
No. This is very short-term sticking plaster. Much like Kevin Davies was. Extremely short-term.
I think in certain situations, players are given caps for years of service to their club rather than they're like, well, I'll tell you exactly who we need in this situation.
Go on.
A 34-year-old battering ram who's about 5'10" and has got a pair of D cups. Yeah, we'll stick him in. Barrel-chested man, real barrel-chested man. He looks like he's wearing like a bulletproof vest underneath his shirt.
The man was just made. I'm fairly sure Kevin Davies is made of Kevlar all the way through.
No one's ever pointed a gun at him, so we'll never know. But it's fair enough to speculate.
But lumbering target men aside,
yeah,
we have got some technically gifted players that do give me hope for the future. I mean, you've got Ravel Morrison. He's came out in the papers recently, said he's hunting down Jack Wilshere's place. I mean, I don't see him doing it this time, but give him a couple of years more maturity. I mean, he does strike me as a little bit arrogant, but I think he could be a prospect.
Morrison's an interesting one though, because he was known for being a wrong un at Manchester United, and they let him go. And I think he realised that he can't mess about anymore. Sam Allardyce has probably taken him to West Ham, probably slapped him about a bit and said, none of that round here, son. You play football, you train, you don't go out and party and stuff. And I think that sort of got through to him, and he's realised, because it'd be a shame because he looks like a top quality player. I mean, his backheel volley the other day was amazing.
Oh, sublime.
And he's doing really well for the England under-21s and in the Premier League, so he's definitely got a lot of potential. It'd be a terrible shame to see that wasted, because I for one think he's got the makings of a cracking player.
So in all honesty then, Tom, what are your expectations for us next year? Where do you think we'll finish?
I can see us squeaking through the group, coming up against some average opposition, sort of like Ecuador were a few years ago, someone that we'd expect to beat and getting through, and then being knocked out by someone like Italy, Brazil, Germany. I'd be surprised if we got to the semis.
I'd take second round quarters. I think anything after that is a bonus.
But I fear we've run over a little.
Indeed.
Run over a little boy.
We often run roughshod over the subject of football.
We do. And we will run roughshod again. Because
of course. You're already witnessing the starts of what will be a beautiful rampage, I guess, through the world of football.
Do you remember when Wayne Rooney lobbed David Seaman when he was about 16 in a Premier League game when he was at Everton? I feel like that. We've witnessed the birth of a star. We've witnessed the supernova. Although
indeed.
That's the birth of a star. This has been Mid-Table Crisis with me, Tom Patrick.
And me, Simon Cross.
And of course, the silent partner. Say hello, silent partner. Thank you very much. And please listen again. And if you want to get in contact with any of us, please don't, because we are insane sociopaths. Thank you very much. Bye bye.